I use HyperDocs. I started using HyperDocs in my instruction, and I use HyperDocs to offer students some choice in activities. So if you don't know what a HyperDoc is, very basically and essentially, you are curating the whole design of a lesson in a Google document. Essentially, it could be a Google slide or a a website. But very basically, you take a Google document and a student could go through the whole lesson in the document. So I use Screencasts to help facilitate that and to give students choice in maybe how they're receiving information about the lesson, or choice in how they turn in an assessment. Maybe I'm asking students to screencast an explanation of something to assess their learning, and then they take the screencast and put it in the HyperDoc. So that is starting to get kind of advanced with the use of technology, but I just wanted to throw it in here because if you have a lot of screencasts and you've used a variety of screencasts, putting them into a HyperDoc. This whole accelerated learning choice board is a HyperDoc, so you can use screencasts in that way in your classroom. And then finally, this was the very first way that I used screencasts in my classroom. As an English teacher, I was very tired of grading essays and spending tons of time writing comments on student essays. And what do? They get the essay back and they only care about the grade, right? They look at the grade and then they put the essay away, or they throw the essay in the garbage, and all those comments, everything that I spent so much time doing to help them get better with their writing, they didn't pay attention to that. So out of that frustration and thinking about how to get my students to actually pay attention to feedback I'm giving on the essay, I started using screencasts for each of my students. And I would make a screencast for each student on their essay, and I would talk to them about what they needed to fix in their essay, where their strengths were in their essay, how I arrived at the grade they had, and then I would give them access to their individual screencast. So it was like I was having an individual conference with each student when they turned in an essay. And, they would come into class and I would say, okay, I have your feedback screencast complete. At some point in the lesson today, I'm going to teach for a while. You'll have some time to work with a group, and then independently, you can go on to Google Classroom in the comments and you can find your feedback essay. And students would go in and listen to like the 5-minute video that I made for them so that they can hear what was going on, and they actually paid attention. It was great. So as you go through the rest of this training on screencasting, I have a couple of articles that just maybe clarify or give some extra examples, some more information about a few of the things that I talked about here. But these are just some great ways that you can use screencasting in your classroom, in your face-to-face classroom, and using it in ways that help the students, help you maximize time, enhance instructional time. And I'm leaving out a couple of other very important things, like how nice it is if you have to, take a sick day or a personal day, to have your instruction recorded so that your students can still receive your instruction even when you're not there. And if they're absent and they can access it. So just a couple of really great ways that you can use screencasting to benefit you and your students.